The Minneapolis television newsroom that made laughter feel essential has dimmed considerably. Of the ensemble cast that defined an era of American comedy, 9 members have now passed from this world. We count among them 4 deaths occurring after our subject herself departed. The ages at which they left us range from 62 to 99, spanning more than 3 decades of mortality. The woman whose cheerful presence opened each episode remains central to this narrative, though her name withheld from this introduction, having left us on a cold January morning in 2017, surrounded by the medical machinery of a hospital room rather than the warmth of studio lights. Number 1, we have Mary Tyler Moore as Mary Richards. Mary Richards was the character who embodied the spirit of a woman determined to make it on her own terms. Moore portrayed this fiercely independent news producer from the show's 1970 inception through its finale in 1977. She brought a particular vulnerability to the role, never falling into simple cheerfulness, but instead offering something more complex. Her performance established a template for the modern television woman that influenced countless shows in the decades that followed. Moore moved through the newsroom with an authenticity that felt earned rather than performed. She passed away on January 25, 2017, at age 80, the cause being cardiopulmonary arrest complicated by pneumonia. The star who began that theme song by tossing her hat into the Minneapolis air had spent her final years managing her health challenges with the same grace she brought to her career. Her departure marked the beginning of the end for an ensemble that seemed, for many years, somehow immune to time's passage. Number 2, we have Edward Asner as Lou Grant. Ed Asner constructed a character in Lou Grant that operated as the beating heart of the series, a gruff newspaperman whose grumpiness masked profound decency. Asner played the role with such nuance that viewers saw the father figure beneath the crusty exterior, the man who mentored Mary while never softening his demanding standards. His performance earned him multiple Emmy Awards, with 3 wins coming specifically for this character during the show's original run. The actor went on to play Lou Grant in his own spin-off series, extending the character's life beyond what anyone anticipated at the series' conception. Asner's career continued well into the new millennium, lending his distinctive voice to the character of Carl Fredricksen in Pixar's Up, and serving as president of the Screen Actors Guild during a transformative period for the union. He died on August 29, 2021, at age 91, having lived a life of remarkable professional longevity and artistic consistency. His passing removed from the world a performer whose craft never diminished despite the accumulation of years. Number 3, we have Valerie Harper as Rhoda Morgenstern. Valerie Harper brought a particular dynamism to Rhoda Morgenstern that elevated the character from supporting player to something far more essential. Harper's comedic timing was impeccable, her ability to shift from self-deprecating humor to genuine pathos, demonstrating an actress of considerable range. The character of Rhoda generated such audience attachment that Harper inherited her own television series, Rhoda, which ran for 5 seasons and earned her 3 Emmy Awards as Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series, then an additional Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress when the spin-off gave her the central role. Harper faced a devastating cancer diagnosis in 2013, a rare brain tumor that medical professionals expected would be terminal within months. Instead, she endured the illness for more than 6 years, refusing to disappear quietly and continuing to make appearances even as her health declined. She died on August 30, 2019 at age 80, her death representing the loss of an actress who had faced modern illness with the same courage her characters displayed in confronting life's challenges. Number 4, we have Ted Knight as Ted Baxter. Ted Knight embodied the vain, bumbling news anchor Ted Baxter with a precision that made him the perfect foil for Mary's competence. Knight constructed a character that could easily have become one-dimensional caricature in less capable hands, yet he somehow infused Ted Baxter with a strange pathos, a man perpetually out of his depth, yet convinced of his own brilliance. His Emmy Award wins for the role came not in the supporting category, but in recognition of how completely he had created and sustained this character. Knight developed colon cancer shortly after the series concluded in 1977, an illness that would shadow the remainder of his life. The cancer returned with vigor in 1985, spreading to his bladder and gastrointestinal tract, forcing him to confront increasing physical challenges in his final years. He died on August 26, 1986, at age 62, having barely survived long enough to see the 1980s arrive. His relatively early death robbed the entertainment world of a performer still in his creative prime, an actor whose peculiar genius for depicting foolishness while maintaining audience sympathy remained unmatched. Number 5. We have Georgia Engel as Georgette Franklin Baxter. Georgia Engel arrived to the series in 1972, joining the established cast as Ted Baxter's eventual wife, Georgette Franklin. Engel brought an ethereal quality to the role, playing Georgette as sweet yet vaguely otherworldly, a woman who operated according to her own private logic that somehow made perfect sense within the comedic framework of the show. Her contribution earned her 5 Emmy Award nominations across her television career, recognition of her ability to generate comedy from the particular rhythms of her character's voice and worldview. Engel continued working after the series concluded, appearing in television movies and guest roles, though never quite achieving another vehicle that showcased her talents as completely as The Mary Tyler Moore Show had. She died on April 12, 2019, at age 70, in Princeton, New Jersey. As a Christian Scientist, Engel did not consult physicians regarding her illness, so the precise medical cause of her death remained undetermined. Her passing marked the loss of a performer whose gentleness on screen belied considerable professional accomplishment. Number 6. We have Gavin Mloud as Murray Slaughter. Gavin Mloud inhabited the role of Murray Slaughter, the news writer whose competence was taken for granted by nearly everyone around him except Mary. Mloud played Murray with a quiet reliability, a man secure enough in his abilities that he did not require validation, yet not so distant that audiences failed to recognize his significance within the group dynamic. His ability to deliver comedy through understatement and facial expression made Murray the quiet anchor of the show's newsroom scenes. Mloud's career extended well beyond this series, most notably with his long tenure as Captain Merrill Steubing on the television series The Love Boat, where he became the reassuring presence that defined the show for many viewers over nearly a decade of broadcasting. He appeared in countless guest roles in television movies, maintaining a visible presence in American entertainment long after the series that made him famous had concluded its run. Mloud died on May 29, 2021, at age 90, at his home in Palm Desert, California. No specific cause was given, though his family reported that his health had declined in the months preceding his death. His passage removed from the world a man whose career demonstrated the possibilities available to a versatile, reliable performer willing to work continuously throughout changing entertainment landscapes. Number 7, we have Betty White as Sue Ann Nivens. Betty White arrived to the Mary Tyler Moore Show in 1973, relatively late in the series' original run, bringing with her several decades of already distinguished television work. White played Sue Ann Nivens, the perpetually cheerful television host of a show within the show called Happy Homemaker Hour, a role that allowed her to demonstrate her particular gifts for suggesting menace beneath an unctuous surface of friendliness. Her performance earned her multiple Emmy Award nominations and demonstrated why she had remained an essential presence in television since its earliest days. White's ability to play against her own public persona, presenting a character both sincere and calculated, allowed the writers to explore the gap between public presentation and private reality. She would go on to appear in numerous television projects and films, becoming an elder stateswoman of entertainment, a woman whose career seemed somehow to accelerate in cultural prominence even as she aged. White died on December 31, 2021, at age 99, in her sleep at her home in Brentwood, Los Angeles. She had suffered a stroke on December 25, just days before her death, which hastened her final decline. Her loss came fewer than 3 weeks before her 100th birthday, a milestone that had seemed possible during the celebratory period surrounding that milestone's approach. Number 8, we have Cloris Leachman as Phyllis Lindstrom. Cloris Leachman played Phyllis Lindstrom, Mary's neurotic and often insufferable landlady, with a complexity that made the character far more sympathetic than the writers may have initially intended. Leachman understood the character's insecurity beneath her aggressive cheerfulness, her desperate need for approval, mixed with her inability to behave in ways that would generate that approval. This understanding enriched every scene she inhabited, making Phyllis simultaneously comedic and genuinely pitiable. Leachman's career was extraordinarily extensive, spanning nearly 8 decades of work in television, film, and theater. She won an Academy Award for her performance in The Last Picture Show, earning also multiple Emmy Awards across a career that seemed determined to explore every available avenue of dramatic and comedic expression. Leachman died on January 27, 2021, at age 94, at her home in Encinitas, California. She suffered a stroke, with COVID-19 as a contributing factor in her final decline. Her death arrived early in the pandemic, one of the entertainment world's most visible casualties of that particularly vicious illness. Number 9. We have John Amos as Gordie Howard. John Amos played the role of Gordie Howard, the weatherman on the television news show within the program, though his character eventually expanded beyond this narrow role. Amos brought professionalism and credibility to what could have been a throwaway part, creating a character who felt like an actual member of the newsroom community rather than a stock player. His performance on The Mary Tyler Moore Show represented just the beginning of a remarkable career that would span more than 5 decades. Amos moved on to portray James Evans Sr. on the sitcom Good Times, a role that demanded far more dramatic weight and allowed him to demonstrate his capacity for playing characters dealing with genuine struggle and paternal responsibility. He earned an Emmy Award nomination for his portrayal of adult Kunta Kinte in the legendary miniseries Roots, demonstrating his ability to carry serious dramatic material with conviction and depth. Amos continued working well into the 21st century, appearing in films and television series, maintaining professional visibility across decades of changing entertainment production. Unlike 8 of his colleagues from the Mary Tyler Moore ensemble, Amos remains alive to reflect on the show's legacy, a living link to its creation and execution. The cancellation of the Mary Tyler Moore Show came not from declining ratings or critical dismissal, but from the cast's decision to conclude the series while it remained at creative strength. The final episode, which aired on March 19, 1977, depicted the newsroom's dissolution rather than Mary's triumph, a rare choice for a sitcom ending that prioritized artistic integrity over sentimentality. That final scene, showing the cast vacating the office they had occupied together for 7 seasons, presaged the scattering that would eventually extend into mortality. Some cast members achieved greater prominence in projects following the series' conclusion, while others found their careers entering quieter phases, though none were ever far from their association with the program that had given them their greatest television exposure. The show itself influenced generations of television writers and performers, establishing a comedic template that remained functional long after its original broadcast had ceased. Audiences continue discovering the series on streaming platforms and through home video releases, introducing people too young to have watched it during its original run to the particular texture of its humor and the professionalism of its execution. The Mary Tyler Moore Show remains alive despite the progressive loss of its cast members, a recorded artifact that persists in time while the people who created it must eventually surrender to the biological imperatives that govern all human existence. The Minneapolis newsroom continues to exist only in syndication and streaming services now, a permanent record of what a group of talented people created together during a specific historical moment. The show's capacity to remain vital and involving, despite the absence of its creators, suggests something about the nature of artistic work, the way that excellence in execution transcends the lifespan of the individuals involved in its creation. Yet there remains something poignant in the fact that each viewing of the Mary Tyler Moore Show now occurs against the knowledge that its cast has been progressively scattered by time and mortality. What once seemed like a show about contemporary life now carries the weight of historical documentation, allowing viewers to see performers in the prime of their lives and careers speaking and moving with vitality that ceased long ago. The entertainment they created endures, even as the hands that created it have stilled. The voices that animated it have fallen silent, and the people themselves have moved beyond the reach of even the most dedicated remembrance. Their television work remains their most permanent legacy, a place where they continue to exist for anyone willing to watch, to listen, and to remember what they accomplished in their time.